The dream continues to haunt me, old friend. It always starts with a journey to a distant land. There I find a city in flames, streets choked with corpses, unthinkable destruction. I witness senseless slaughter, brother against brother, pure hatred. And then, executions, agony, suffering surrounded me until my turn comes. They burn my eyes, break my bones. I awaken in terror. There's no one left to stand against them. You think me mad, old friend, but I know these dreams. They tell of the future. Hell is coming, brother. Hell is coming.
And there you have it. The trailer for Diablo 4. That was put out 3 years ago, actually. And so at this stage, a lot has changed. Some things haven't. The graphics still look amazing. There's actually added characters. They only showed like the druid, the barbarian, and the sorcerer there, I believe. But they have a necromancer and rogue. Really, so far in this game, I really, really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I played Diablo 1. I never played Diablo 2. I did play D3, but I actually started D3 probably like 2016 or 17. So it was much later after it already started, like out in 2012, I believe. And I really like D3. There's a lot of people that don't. They don't really care for D3. Now, there's certain things about D3 I didn't like. I thought at times it was a little too easy. It did get a little repetitive with some of the dungeons and stuff like that. But outside of that, I really, really enjoyed it. But I'm enjoying D4 a lot more with different things, but I do have some problems with it. And I'm going to get into a few of those throughout this review, as well as basically giving you my builds for my rogue, my sorcerer, and my necromancer. I do have a druid and a barbarian I'm working on, but they're so low right now in level that I'm not going to touch on them in this video. Going down the road when I start doing more and more game videos, at least in terms of what I'm playing, like I'm not a diehard gamer, so naturally I may get around to Final Fantasy 16. Definitely more to come at 1. When it happens, I'll definitely do some videos on that. But I'm hoping to have some special guests who are playing some other games and stuff like that, who will join me and talk about this. I know that Edgar Allan Poe, who does sports episodes with me, will be doing some gaming stuff. He'll probably do a Diablo 4 review with me at some point as well. But I kind of wanted to get this out there because I wanted to, because there's a lot of gaming videos out there right now in terms of Diablo 4. A lot of information out there, bad and good. But I am enjoying it, even though there's been a lot of hiccups and patchwork done by the devs of Blizzard. You know, they're constantly updating stuff. And yeah, so I'm really having a good time with it. The graphics are amazing. I do love the storyline a lot with Lilith. And, you know, there's even Mephisto making an appearance in here. The only issue that I really have right now is two things, and I know it's going to kind of upset the gamer elitists and other people because, you know, of the D3 problems and stuff, but just hear me out here. So, one of the issues is, and I know that Blizzard's kind of working on it right now, is with the Necromancers, whenever they use the corpse explosion, it's darkening up the screen and you can't see what's within it. So like if you're helping somebody or fighting with a team or by yourself, you can't see what's going on. You can't see any other critters that you're battling there. So it shrouds it up. You can't see it, and that's a problem. But I think Blizzard is working on correcting that, but it probably won't happen until season 1. But hopefully they kind of get it worked out sooner, unless season 1's like, you know, coming out real soon, which I don't know how soon it is. But the other thing I have is I'm what you call a casual gamer. And this means that I have a day job. I have my YouTube channel, which I do a lot more music and movie entertainment related stuff compared to the gaming stuff. So I do play when I have my free time, and right now I am playing a lot of D4 just because it's the hot thing right now for me. Some people have already gone through it, like Asmongold, a guy I follow. He's blasted to 80 something, and he's kind of stopped. There's other players online who are certainly either at 100 or getting close to it, and they're kind of waiting for the next thing that Diablo 4 is going to offer in terms of content. But you know, not to offend the diehards here per se, but my only real issue, like right now with my sorcerer, she's a level 70, right? So I'm trying to work my way to tier 4, which, you know, when I see a lot of these updated videos, which kind of frustrates me, these guys are already on tier 4, and a lot of their builds and their, you know, they're saying, oh, gotta go to this loot cavern, you know, but you're at a higher level than everyone else still. Like, so you're not really benefiting the rest of us who are still behind the pack. And that's kind of frustrating because, like, I need people that are going to talk about my level where I am. So one of the problems I'm having right now is beating Elias and to get to tier 4. And I'm at 70. So, I mean, I can get through every other part of that dungeon with no problem, really. I can get through it with no problem. Even now that I've kind of maxed out my attack power, which I'll talk about soon, when I get to Elias, I get him down to like 1 bar, dude, and then he just manages to one-shot me, and it just fucking sucks. Like I even went with Poet to try to tackle this, and what happens is because we're both in there, and of course my level's higher now, it's like Elias's level matches mine. So the sad thing for me, if Blizzard ever sees this, is that I'm never probably ever going to beat this motherfucker because he's so goddamn tough. Some people have no problem with it, but they're like, I would say almost professional gamers. This is what they do 24/7. I don't do that. I'm not someone I consider like a power gamer, you know, or anything of that nature. So I'm trying everything I can to keep up and to get better gear. That's always the kind of the thing. Like they're thinking about tier 5 now, and I'm like, I can't get past tier 3. And so some people, and I know some of the leaders are like, well, that's just too bad, dude. Like, you know, you just gotta kind of deal with it. You gotta either be better or whatever. Fuck you, man. Like the idea is everyone should be able to enjoy this game at any level. Any fucking level, dude. So if I hit fucking 75 with my sorcerer, Elias shouldn't like fucking go up that level. He should be right at 70 so that I can progress and then go take on those challenges. on tier 4 and tier 5 accordingly. I shouldn't have to sit there and keep fighting with this motherfucker forever and never get to tier 4. I'm sorry, I'm not a professional gamer. I'm not going to be on it 24/7, dude. I only have so much time allotted to do this. Now, the other problem with this, and I know Blizzard's been kind of working on the experience and stuff like that, and which kind of helps and kind of doesn't, is levels 1 through 50, dude, you should be able to blitz to those, especially on tier 1. You should be able to get to 50 with no problems. Now, it's better now than it was when the game came out initially about a month or so ago. So that's good. But technically speaking, man, like it still shouldn't be a slog to get to 50. And I'm working on my builds. I'm trying different things. So there are things that I'm finding out are working better. But again, you should be able to get to 1 to 50 pretty quickly. And because there's a lot of content in this game, which is good. This is the same kind of problem I run with World of Warcraft, because they put out an expansion and you've got all this shit you can do, right? And so you're supposed to do all this shit and then go do raids and everything else. But for a guy like me, I'm pretty much PvE. Like, I don't really do much dungeon runs or raiding per se, except for once in a blue moon, unless I'm like higher above that expansion. So I go back as a solo and just run through them and get whatever transmore gear or mounts that are available at that time. Like, I don't run them at the time of the game is released. So like with Shadowflight, I don't have any of the real fancy stuff. Now, granted, I'm a hunter and I go out and get some of these creatures and some of these other things, which is cool. So I'm having fun with it, obviously. But when it comes to the higher content, I'm not in there. And I see this game the same way. Like, I know Blizzard kind of wants you to have like a team and do things, and sometimes that helps, like especially when you're fighting things with other people right there. Like, just being in the area with those other players, you get experience, was good. So that's a plus. But, and of course you got your elixirs and all this other stuff. But the thing is, I think that really 1 to 50 should be a pretty smooth ride. Like, you should be able to get there pretty fast, tier 1. It shouldn't be that difficult. And especially at first, they made it really difficult. And they're constantly filling around with the classes and trying to like rework them, and some are good and bad. Sometimes they fuck up shit and ruin it, and then other things they fix and make better. But anyway, if they can make it to where 1 through 50 is a bit easier, like I skipped a campaign of my alts, but all my waypoints didn't show up. So I don't understand that. Like, that's kind of stupid, right? Like, that was something that was supposed to happen when I had completed most of it with my main character. It didn't happen. So that's frustrating. But what I figured out with the rogue, because the rogue's the first one, my first class I'm going to talk about with mine, because I've been playing it recently, is when you're doing your alts, you're better off just sticking with the Tree of Whispers for a while until you get to 50, and then at that point you can skip over to Nightmare and start running the Hell Tides and stuff like that do a little bit more for you in the dungeons there and the Tree Whisper stuff there. So that is something that you should do after 50. Right? To 50, just do Tree Whispers, because you get most of your experience that way. If you have the waypoints, great, but like at this stage, for me, it's kind of like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like, I just kind of stick with what's around the area, and then if it levels to where I am, great. Speaking of Hell Tides real quick, I can't remember who the guy was, but he mentioned that there were mystery chests. I don't know if people know about this. They're not shown on the map when you're inside the Hell Tides, but I think it's I'll put a lot of links I'll put in the description box for you guys, but there's one for an interactive page. It tells you when the world bosses are going to be up the Helltide, the Legion events, and it shows you all the altars of Lilith locations, etc. It's really, really nice. It's very nice. But these mystery chests, this interactive map tells you where they are and which ones are active at any given moment with the Helltide. So these are great because while you can still get extra cinders to get some of those specific items like your weapon or hand protection, amulets, rings, whatever, the mystery chest will drop at least like 5 legendaries. At least for me right now at level 70, and even at my Necromancer that's at 56. So that I find more profitable than just doing single chests for single items. Now, the problem, again, I'm running with my Sorcerer being at 70 is that a lot of the legendaries dropping right now are just lower than me, which is another frustrating thing. Fucking Blizzard has no problem raising the enemy scaling to fucking match yours, but they won't raise the fucking legendary item rankings to match your character. So, like, if I can't get past Nightmare, if I can't get past Elias, what does that mean, dude? I can't do anything more with my gear. I might as well just stop playing the character in the game with that character, which I don't want to do. I really like the character. It's a lot of fun, but it's getting boring because I can't upgrade anything at this point. Uniques don't drop that often. Now with my Necromancer at 56, I'm still having some good luck finding stuff that I can update because she's at a lower level. So yeah. Just a side note: the mystery chest or the bomb, though, definitely worth your time if you're gonna do the Helltides. Okay. So I talked about that. Yeah. So I got all that. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna break down all my builds for my 3 characters that I'm mainly playing right now. So I'm gonna start with my rogue. The game is still very enjoyable. I'm not despite my like grievances with certain things. I'm really enjoying the game. I really like it all a lot. So don't think that I'm trying to trash it. I'm not. I wish they would adjust some things for more of the casual. I know everyone's saying this game's designed for the casual person, but it's really not in some ways. Just because of those factors I pointed out. Because if I'm not good enough to get to tier 4, then there's no advantage for me to stay or play that character anymore in Nightmare. Like, I'm done. Like, why bother at that point? Which is stupid. Because you spend all that time building your character up, you want to keep them going. And I think that's kind of the issue that Asmon had with him. He got to like 80 something and said, I can't do anything more. There's nothing more for me to do. So going to 100 is pointless. And I agree with him. And he's on tier 4. So if he's having troubles at tier 4 with the same problem, then what's the point of me playing my character anymore if I can't even get to tier 4? So Blizzard devs, Elias needs to be nerfed a little bit here, okay? Maybe max him out at 70 so that, or whatever, because or at least if I team up with someone, I should be able to wipe the fucking floor with this asshole. But you guys overdo it with his power in that fucking fight, dude. It's ridiculous. But I'm going to talk to some of you who are watching this, and you probably give me some feedback and comments after I've gone through my builds, and I'm going to ask you for pointers on maybe point real locations, respecs maybe. But I'm going to give you my builds for how I feel about them and how they work for me. So one of the first things I've got, and let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay, I got to bring it back, so hold on. My bad. I'm still learning this part of my sharing philosophy, but here we go. So this is from Max Roll. This is a flurry sort of barrage type of build for my rogue. It was really rough at first because there's many different builds out there. And I know each build works differently for each person. And so in this case, I found out that Flurry and this, I believe it's Barrage. that I'm using. I'll go through it here. Dioxide here, he's got a nice little build. Now I've altered it a little bit differently than he has. So what I do have, so as I go through my tier now with this, is I do have the puncture, enhanced, and of course the fundamental. And I do have 5 in flurry, as well as always improved flurry. These are all the same for siphoning, although I did put 3 in siphoning strikes. So I might alter that a little bit and throw that other point down somewhere. Now here's where it's changed a little bit for me, because much like when it comes to Sorcerer, and I'll get to it later, a lot of people like to use teleporting with the Sorcerer, even on Frost. And I don't really like using teleporting because I just, either I'm not utilizing it right for myself, or I just don't like the style of how I'm supposed to utilize it. So I've got a different direction. And with my Necromancer and Sorcerer, my builds are pretty much a mishmash of just things I've learned over time, because those are my 2 main characters right now. But in this case, I think I've found a pretty good build that I'm building off. So, but instead of Shadow Step and Dash, which is what Dioxide has, I do keep some of this other stuff the same: Weapon Master, Concussive, Trick Attacks, and all that, as well as no Poison Trap I avoided. So, but instead of uh, Dash and Shadow Step, what I've done is I've gone with Dark Shroud in place of Shadow Step. And I have it at level 1 with Enhanced and Subverting Dark Shroud. This gives me a little protection when dealing with crowd control, which is nice. And instead of Dash, I'm using the Cold Imbuement with Enhanced and Mixed Cold Imbuement. So this adds like uh, a freezing passive basically to when I hit them with my arrows and stuff like that. Now I keep what is this one? Sturdy and Siphoning, same like we just did that. Those are the same. Now Exploit and Malice, I'm working on those currently. I got like 1 at least exploit right now, but I kind of went over that because I skipped that part because I wanted to add more to my attack bar. And so I did add Poison Imbuement 5, and then of course always the blended enhancement. I did do all these the same: Precision, Deadly Venom, Debilitating Toxins, and Alchemical Advantage. So those are all the same. Trap Mastery, no, I did not do these. So let's see. Okay, so instead of the Poison Trap, because we skipped that one earlier, so instead of doing that one, I did basically Rain of Arrows. So that's like my ultimate, basically. So when I'm in a mix of a crowd and want crowd control and help out with like alleviating that, I have the Rain of Arrows plus the Prime and Supreme in that category. I went with that. I can't remember off chance what I did here. I think I didn't know, where did I put it. I know I put it in here. I guess I didn't. Sorry, guys. I did do some different things towards the end, but I did still go with momentum with the final selection there. As I said before, though, I'm going to go back to Exploit and Malice because those do add a lot of great things to the build itself. Paragon wise, I'm not there yet because I'm only level 37. So in that case, that's what I got just for my build. And so when I get to Paragon, I'm going to use Dioxide's, or at least his guide, to kind of lead me on the way and maybe change it around if I feel like I like some other glyph more than others with that. Now with Sorceress, this is my main. Like I said, it's my 70. This is one I've had to respec and reallocate points many times over because as time has gone on, builds that these YouTubers have changed and changed along with the patches and fixes that Blizzard is doing with the game right now. So they're like, new build is all gonna break the records and all this other stuff and stuff like that. But I found what I feel like is my favorite or my best build for my sorcerer at this point, sorceress. It's a frost build, but instead of teleport, I'm basically going with frostbolt. And so here's basically my build for my frost. So I have 1 in frostbolt plus enhanced and glinting, 5 in ice shards enhanced and destructive, 1 in flame shield enhanced and shimmering, 1 in ice armor, 5 in frost nova enhanced and mystical, 3 in elemental attunement, and 3 in glass cannon, which really raises attack power. You do take some damage, but the attack power that it add changed my build completely. And as I said, as when you guys are done watching this, for those of you that have really been diving into this, and you've got it narrowed down to how each skill and Paragon stuff works, feel free to comment and leave me suggestions and recommendations and advice, because anything I can do to continue to raise the attack power on my characters, I want to know. Obviously I know, for the rogue, my main stat is dexterity, so followed by intelligence and willpower. But sorcerer is more intelligence, willpower, basically there with that, dexterity as well. But sometimes, if you're not changing stats all the time on gear, which at lower levels you don't really want to mess with that because you're trying to level up fast enough to get to 50 so you can go and start doing hell ties and getting better gear, like legendary stuff and all that. You do get a few legendary here and there in the lower levels. I've gotten a few with the rogue right now, but they don't drop as often as hell tides or the dungeons and stuff like that. So, but I have 3 in elemental attunement and 3 in glass cannon, which I talked about, 3 in precision magic, 1 in align the elements, and 3 in protection. I put 3 in icy veil, 3 in cold front, and 3 in snap freeze. My ultimate is deep freeze, prime, and supreme. I really like that a lot, mainly because it gives me protection when I'm getting mobbed or starting getting hit hard. And then while I'm in the ice cocoon, I get my mana and my health kind of go up a little bit, which is great. So I really like it for that reason. Plus, it does do damage outside of that, especially vulnerable creatures around you. 3 in permafrost, 3 in hoarfrost, 3 in frigid breeze, and 2 in icy touch. I don't know if you'll ever be able to add more skill points or not. If I do, I'll end up kind of completing that a little bit, maybe going back to some others. I really like if they did give you more skill points, but a lot of that now is just Paragon stuff. And then finally, I put Avalanche in the final slot or final spot on my skill sheet. And as far as enchantments, I have Ice Shards and Flame Shield. Now, I was going with Ice Shards and Frozen Orb, which was benefit of one of my pieces of gear, but I kind of liked effective Flame Shield will automatically pop on for me. I can do Ice Armor too, so I'm going to kind of play around with that one to see how it works while I'm out there fighting with it. But I want to see if it pops on without me having to worry about it too much. So that would be nice. Maybe some of you who use that at all, I don't know. Most people use a fireball for damage or meteor or something like that. I'm kind of looking more for protection there, just, because if I have to go fucking fight Elias again, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So the less I have to worry about hitting my defenses, the better. I'm doing mine on PC compared to console, so don't know how much harder or less hard it is on either, platforms. My Paragon board for this does differ a little bit for some people. It's not totally, but again, intelligence, willpower, and dexterity the most. Intelligence is your biggest benefactor with power, attack power. As far as glyphs are concerned, I'm using currently Elementalist first on the starter board, Destruction on my second board, and now I'm on my third, where I'm probably going to do Frostbite, but that may change depending. Um, the good thing that I like about the third board, though, because you have these other nodes that are very nice benefits to your character. They're usually in yellow and kind of red. The third board, when you're a Frost, if you're going with the particular board that I am, like on the second one, or yeah, the second board, I have Frigid Fate, which is a legendary node. On the third one, I have Icefall. But the other ones on that third board are Frigid, Frost, Polar Rime, and Keeper of Winter, and those add a lot of cool shit to your character on that build. So I'm working my way to try to do that. That's probably the only reason why I'd still play my Sorcerer at this point, is just run to get the Paragon points. Because outside of that, like, dude, I have like right now my Sorcerer. I kid you not. Now people are gonna laugh, or they might say, "Oh, that's pretty good." Um, Despite struggling with Elias, my attack power is 3491. Now, I was for a while, I was still kind of learning. So, like, I was still down to like 2100, 2700. But then once I put the glass cannon on, dude, it shot up. So I was like, maybe I can take his ass down this time. No. He just scaled to me and fucked me up in the end. Um, I have 4320 with armor and 3312 with life. So really, in my opinion, that's a pretty good build. Now, some people are like, well, if you have better gear, but you can't choose which gear you get. You get what you get. And if, I think I had maybe one unique that was useful for my build and my character. I don't use a staff. I don't like using a staff. I like using the wand and the focus. So, and I do that for my Necromancer too. And I know people kind of shy away from that. They don't like that. They want to use either the skiff or something of that nature. I don't like using it. I like to keep it simple and speed. But that's my a build with my Sorcerer right now. Now to my Necromancer. And I gotta log in real quick just to get the stats of my Necro here real quick. Sorry. But much like the Sorceress, your main stats for this is intelligence and uh, willpower and dexterity. So those are still not going to change much in that regard. Now, some people like Edgar Allan Poe, who I play with online with Diablo for a little bit. He plays a Necro too, and he plays. I forget his build, but it's certainly it's certainly one he doesn't use any minis. He sacrificed that just to have like the other benefits that comes with not having minions. Now, I don't like it. I like the minions for a number of reasons. I like seeing them on screen. I like having the help. That's probably why I play Hunter and World of Warcraft. I like having the assistance there with that. It's just something that I really like. I like using them as attack force and whatnot, building them up. So my tree, when it comes to the Necromancer at 56 right now, is I have 1 point in Bone Splinters, Enhanced, and Initiates. Then I have 5 in Bone Spear, Enhanced, and Supernatural, 3 in Hued Flesh, 3 in Skeletal Warrior Mastery, 2 in Bone Prison, Enhanced, and Dreadful, 3 in Grim Harvest, 3 in Death's Embrace, 3 in Death's Reach, 3 in Skeletal Mastery, or Mage Mastery, sorry, 3 in Necrotic Carapace, 2 in Serration, 1 in Compound, and 1 in Evulsion. I think probably I should have more in those. So you all who have the bone builds, let me know if I should like relocate some of my points out of one area into that, because I know that particular section is kind of built for the bone build a little bit. But again, if I'm able to get more points, I can keep everything I have already and go with more in those areas, or I might have to move them. So if you got any advice on that, because if that will help me build up my attack power, with the minions, great. And my bone attacks, of course, like the bone spear is a major attack thing. My ultimate is Bone Storm, Prime, and Supreme. Now, some people go with the Army of the Dead. I could go with that, but I really like Bone Storm. It's circles around you, it keeps you kind of protected. Reminds me a little bit of Death Knight a little bit on World of Warcraft. 3 in Golem Mastery, 3 in Inspiring Leader, Hellbent Commander, Bonded, and Death's Defense. So I have 3 in each of those. And then finally, in the final slot, I have Kalen's Edict. The Paragon board that I have going right now, glyph wise, I'm only on the first 2 boards because I'm at 56 right now. So glyph wise, I start with Gravekeeper and then Essence on the second board. I haven't really looked at the third board in terms of how it's going to benefit my bone build, but I'm assuming because of the Frost one, it's going to be pretty good. Rogue might be very interesting when I get to it with Flurry. I think that's kind of the only exciting thing is getting that Paragon board up, but it takes a while. But yeah, so that's that. So again, if you're way more experienced with this game, if you've played around with it more than I have, if you build some of these characters in a similar fashion, and you have any advice in terms of how to up my attack power, because a gear you can advise gear, or if you have builds, you can give me links, but like until that gear drops or I get that anything like that, I do have most of my aspects that I've collected through my main, so that's not really a problem in that regard. I know you can extract some, but oftentimes I don't find the ones that are really beneficial. Like I look at some of the Frost builds and they've got certain aspects that they've pulled from, other pieces of gear, but I just haven't come across them. And I don't have any of the uniques that really make some of the other differences that they got. That's why, again, these tier 4 clowns that keep going out there and making these builds aren't really helpful to the rest of us who are still building our way up that way. So, and I say clowns lovingly, trust me. I really appreciate a lot of what they do. It's hard work. They take a lot of time to explain stuff. So, I'm not trying to diss them. I just wish they would have stuff that would help me along the way instead of just saying, hey, here's your answer to the 100. It's like, I just don't, I'm not there, dude. Like, I'm behind the pack a little bit. All in all, I really like D4. And I know it's going to be a work in progress for Blizzard until they get all the tweaks and done on it that they have. Just like the casuals or diehards, hopefully Blizzard can keep this game interesting enough going forward. I do hope they find a way to make it easier to get to 50 than it currently is. Even if they do, like, something that I enjoyed, I know COVID fucked a lot of people in terms of jobs and stuff like that, but it also enabled people to kind of let loose on the gaming world a little bit and then kind of sit back and play. When World of Warcraft was going on between expansions, Shadowlands and Dragonflight, they basically did these weekly things where they still kind of do it. They add like reputation at 50% or experience at 100%. Like if Blizzard can do something similar for Diablo 4 for the rest of us, like we can spend a week like basically taking advantage of something like that 100% experience for a week, that would be a godsend. Like even if that happens like every so often, like once a month, that'd be fucking great. Even if you don't want to just make it easier, like you want to keep it the same, give us some other benefit that you can drop on us that we can just go and start really getting our alternate characters leveled up so that we can jump into Nightmare. Because really getting to Nightmare wasn't so much a problem. Like, obviously when I was at 50, you couldn't really, I don't think you could go in there any early. Maybe you could at 48. I don't know. Maybe you guys can clear that up. I think it was Cathedral. You had to run that dungeon to get to tier 3. I didn't really fuck with Veteran because they said it's not much of a difference between materials and drops and experience. So I stay on tier 1 until I get to 50, and then I just automatically go jump to fucking Nightmare. And the good news is my rogue, I'm pretty confident I won't have any problems running through there. Now, the druid and barbarian, I'm still working out the kinks with those. Again, certain builds, like the only thing I'm frustrated with the druid right now is like I want to be a werewolf, and I do use certain aspects that he turns into were bloodhound, stuff like that. Uh, but because of the build I'm using, especially at the beginning, like they like to use Storm Strike, and I know that is probably a pretty cool thing. I've been having some success with it, the build, but I like using the wolves too. So I did find the interesting thing about the I don't even know what you call them, man, but they're like the helpers. They're like ghostly things, and it's at some point you just have to find all their shit. Like I haven't got the snake yet, but like I don't. They somehow play a part in your build, and that's kind of cool. They add like certain things throughout it. So anyway, I'm still working on that, and the barbarian's still a work in progress. I named mine Conan. Go figure, right? Um, Now, also, like I said, I'm going to put some stuff and links in the description for you guys. Now, if you're interested, there are some YouTube guys out there right now that are doing really, really well. One of the main ones is a new guy. He actually has done very well. He's actually becoming very popular now. I don't know if he's going to change his name down the road, but his name currently on YouTube is DM colon Diablo 4. He's a long-haired, red-headed dude, probably a headbanger, such as myself, unless he's a country guy, could be, but looks like a headbanger. Um, but yeah, he has a lot of great content, and he has a lot of great breakdowns, and he goes through things very clearly. And unlike me, I'm not always clear on the. I'm on point. My ADD kicks in, and so it's like squirrel. Um, but you also have Chosen. He's a really cool guy on there. I did have a lot of success with Rage Gaming videos, although he was one of the ones that was constantly changing every other day because of the patchwork. It wasn't really his fault, but like I'm like, dude, I just did this one. Now you got this one, and I'm trying. What the fuck? So one thing I've learned about my characters, and this is something they do say, they say you got to do it, build it to your liking. And that's what I've done. Like I don't use teleport. I know this guy does. I know that others use dash and shadow step for their road builds. I just don't. I don't like them. They're kind of pointless to me, really. You can use them for escapability, which is good, but like I don't give a shit. I want defense and I want attack power. I want to be able to crush you. So that's how I want to be. And Asmongold, of course, he doesn't really give any breakdowns on builds that I know of, unless he did it while he was doing one of his long streams of Diablo 4. I know he recently did a hardcore version with Tectonic and Imaru, so I don't know how far they got. I didn't finish the video, but he's fun to watch, and he's got a lot of good game knowledge. But he's kind of moved on to Final Fantasy 16. So that's kind of where he is right now. But like I said, he got to 80 something in Diablo 4, and he's running into the same problem where I am with my 70. The only difference is he was able to get to tier 4, and I just haven't. So I beg anybody, please, if you've got any serious pointers about getting through Elias, even with a teammate, let me know because I'm desperate to get to tier 4 at least. At least. I may never go to tier 5 if they make it, but I just want to get to tier 4. I do. With all my characters. But for now, just Sorcerer. I need to be able to fucking beat that asshole. Please. Any pointers and advice you can give me on this, I need it. I don't know if the answer is more attack power. I know I'm supposed to avoid certain things, but you can't always avoid those circles on the ground. It's just impossible. So I heal, of course, with my globes and all that other shit. I take care of the ads when I can. But something about when I get him down to the nitty gritty, dude, he just fucking wipes me. And I don't know what the fuck it is, but I hate him. I really fucking hate him. And people are talking about Uber Ills, and I'm like, I'm not even talking about that bitch yet. I'm talking about this asshole. I need to get rid of him. Hurry, in a hurry, please. Hope you enjoyed this video, man, just for what it was. I'm no expert, obviously. I'm just telling you my experiences with the game, how I'm enjoying it, and what I'm doing with certain builds with it. We will definitely continue to talk more about it as we go down. I know that Poet wants to kind of run season 1 with me. I don't know if I did seasons sort of with, I think, with D3. I don't even remember if I did or didn't. Nevertheless, I will run a season with Poet. I probably would choose a rogue. Like, one thing that's really surprising about the rogue, surprising to me at all, I'm not taking much damage, dude. Like, it's kind of surprising. Now, I am on tier 1. I got to say that. It might change as I get higher. But right now, dude, I can do some good damage with poison and the cold imbuement. And, like, well, even when the mobs are on me, dude, they're not doing much to me. I'm having like life regeneration and stuff. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy on my gear. I do have legendaries. I did upgrade them because I wanted them to last long enough to get through a few levels before I had to do more upgrading. But yeah, for some reason, defensively, it's pretty good. Now, early on, when I was doing other specs with that, dude, I was getting my ass kicked. Like, I was like, why are people playing this character? And then when I came across this video that the guy was using Deoxide's his build, like the flurry and stuff, I was like, that shit works great. Fucking, it's great. So if you're interested in rogue, man, you might take an attempt to go do the flurry and the barrage stuff, because I'm having like almost no problem with mobs or anything like that. And same with the boss fights in the dungeons. Like, no, because usually I have to kind of like with my necro and my sorcerers, I have to kind of like dance around a little bit. Now I do occasionally with the rogue if they're spitting down poison pits, but I can sometimes just sit there in front of them and just shoot and fuck them up all day long with the fucking rogue, and they just don't do anything. Like, it's like just barely taking my health away. So try it out, man. Yeah, and of course with my barbarian druids, any pointers, like, you can give me any specs you got for any of your characters, because I'm probably gonna, like I said, I'll probably get to the other two at some point. But I've been playing rogue. I'm having kind of fun. I want to get her to 50 so I can jump into the hell ties with that one. And then I'll still play Necro on my sorceress to build that up as well. But I'm just kind of changing it up. Like, I'm getting frustrated with the Elias crap. But anyway, hit the subscribe button if you like our channel, and hit the like button, please. It all matters. Hopefully one day I can be monetized with this channel. Who knows? But I'm just this old guy, metalhead, and if you don't even really care about gaming, but you like music and movies, entertainment, go check out some of our trailer reactions, our movie reviews, or even some of the top 5 albums of the week that I'm doing with the metal and rock stuff. We have podcasts, we have interviews with bands and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot out there we bring out to you on Metal Tavern Radio. So check it out, find what you like, and we appreciate the support, man. It means a lot to us. Take care, have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Till the next.